Well, that's awesome. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you know what time it is. It's our money results time. So, we're going to do a little activity, and some of you have kind of already looked around the room, but now you're going to be able to understand what the little yellow cards are doing. So, around the room, there are yellow cards with different punctuation marks. We have periods and we have question marks. So, on the board, I'm going to be showing you different sentences that do not have a punctuation mark at the end, which is nonsense because all sentences need punctuation mark at the end. So, this is where I need your help. I need you to be punctuation detectives. So, I need you from your seat, when we look at the sentence that we have posted on the board, we're going to have a few different ones. I need you to find the correct punctuation mark that I need to complete my sentence. Because if I don't have a punctuation mark, my sentence isn't complete. It's not correct. So, who can tell me what the directions are again? I'm going to help you with this. Are you going to get up and go and stand by the punctuation mark, or what are you going to do?
Stand by the punctuation.
So, are you going to do that, or are you going to sit at your desk and just point? So maybe I didn't clarify that completely, but you're just going to point. So show me your thinking by pointing instead of getting up and walking around, because we've got a few sentences that we have to do, so it may get a little too crazy if we get up and walk around. So you're just going to point, and then I'll know that that's what punctuation mark I need to complete my sentence. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
So what are the different punctuation marks that we see around the room? Remind me. Kyle.
A period.
A period.
And a question mark.
And a question mark. And how are you going to know which one to choose? Where are you going to look to see the sentence that we need to complete? Where's the sentence posted? Bella, you're right up at the front. So, this is our first sentence. Who can read this to me? Logan.
I like school.
I like school. It has no punctuation mark. Point to the punctuation mark that I need. Be my punctuation detective. Okay, I see some different hands pointing to different punctuation marks, but I think we're all pointing to a period mark because we've got one over here, and some of you are pointing to the one over here too. So first I'm going to grab this one. Because we have a few around the room, because that means there's going to be a few sentences that need a period. So this sentence needs a period. This is what we call a statement. It just has a period at the end. I like school. With a period. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, our next sentence, be a good punctuation detective. What is your favorite book? There's no punctuation mark. Which one do I need? Point to it. Point. Show me your thinking. You guys are pointing to a question mark. There's a few around the room, but I think most of you are pointing to this one.
No.
So, let's look at that. Does that look correct?
Yeah.
It says, what is your favorite book? It's a question. So we need a question mark. Good job. Why do you like reading? Do we need a period or a question mark? Show me your thinking. Oh, lots of fingers pointing to this question mark. Hopefully Miss Snyder can reach it.
How did you get
I put it
out
up there, so I better be able to get it. All right. This sentence needs a question mark. It says, why do you like reading? This is a question. Can you see it? All right. Oh, it's getting harder because there's less and less hanging on the wall. She brought a cold lunch. Do we need a period or a question mark?
Period.
Period. Ooh, you found this one back here. You guys are good detectives. All the way back here. She brought a cold lunch. This sentence just needs a period because it's a statement. It's not asking us anything. It's just Good job. Yeah, I'm going to need Mrs. Smith's help for this one. Just a period. It's not asking us anything. It's just telling us that he likes to write. All right, I think this is our last one. Where do you go to school? Good job. That's our only one left. So kind of dwindle down. Oh, thank goodness we have you guys around to be punctuation detectives, or else I don't know what we would do. So where do you go to school? It's asking you something. It's a question. So we need our question mark. Yes, good job. Oh boy, you guys are good at that. So let's think back. When we write a sentence, whether it's a question or a statement, it's just telling you something, we always need to start it with a capital letter. We need a subject, we need a predicate, and we need a punctuation mark. So when we tell something, when we write a sentence that tells something, we need to use a period. That is what we call a statement. And when we write a sentence that asks something, we need to use a question mark because we're asking a question. So we need to use the correct punctuation mark to make our sentences make sense. So we know what our reader is trying to ask or tell us. Okay, so we have to use the correct punctuation mark, again, to make our sentences make sense. So today, our I can statement is going to say, I can identify statements and questions. So we're going to write that together and then we'll read it, okay? So I can identify statements. This one's kind of hard because it's down low. Statements and questions. Can you read that or see it?
I can. The video can.
So can we say it together? Ready? I can identify statements and questions. Remember Mrs. Nutt talked about how this little symbol here can be the same as writing the word and, just when you kind of have a limited amount of space. So just know that that means and, okay? So we're going to put a projectable up on the board. We did this last week with our grammar lesson as well, but we're going to use that to help us learn more about statements and questions. So we'll get that ready. Okay. I'll zoom in a little bit. Whoop. And Anaya, I'll push it over here so I'm not in your way too much. Okay, so if you look up here, our title is Statements and Questions. So, and that matches our I can statement. So this says, a statement is a sentence that tells something. A statement begins with a capital letter. It ends with a period. So we already kind of reviewed that. We know that sentences start with a capital letter and end with a period. So right down here it says, a question is a sentence that asks something. A question begins with a capital letter and ends with a question mark. So I'm going to read this first sentence here. My pet is a dog. I see a capital letter and I see a period. To know whether that this is a statement or a question, I can ask myself these thinking questions that are right here in this bubble. So this will kind of guide our thinking and guide our responses here too. It says, does the sentence tell something or ask something? Does it end with a period or a question mark? So if I look back to this first sentence here that says, my pet is a dog, I know that this sentence is telling me something. I also know that it ends with a period. So that means that this sentence is a statement, okay? So this sentence is a statement. Now I'm going to look at this sentence. It says, do you have a pet? I'm going to go back to my thinking question and ask myself to guide my thinking, guide how I know whether that this is a statement or a question. So I'll ask myself, does this sentence tell something or ask something? Does it end with a period or a question? So if we look at this first sentence, does it tell something or ask something? This asking me if I have a pet. So it's, again, asking me something. And it also ends with a question mark. So you can see right here, see this little question mark? So it's asking me something and ends with a question mark. So I know that this sentence is a question. So that's a question. So give me a thumbs up if you understand how I use those thinking questions to determine whether these sentences were a statement or a question. Did you kind of think that that was helpful as I was deciding whether the sentence was a statement or a question to ask myself those questions? That was kind of a lot of but asking yourself these thinking questions that we often see on some of our projectables or some of our readers' notebooks, they help you answer the questions that you need to answer. So we're going to go through and follow these directions with the rest of these sentences here. Anaya, can you see okay, honey? Okay. So are you friends following? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if a sentence tells you something, which punctuation mark do you need at the end? Raise your hand. Alicia, if a sentence tells you something, kind of like how this sentence told me that my dog is a pet, what punctuation mark do you need?
You would need a period.
A period. So if a sentence is telling you something, you use a period. If a sentence is asking you something, what punctuation mark do you need? Really going to encourage you to raise your hand to show me that you've been following along and listening, because I know you second graders are smart. Noah.
Like a question mark.
A question mark because the sentence is asking you something, so you need the correct punctuation mark. Good work. So now we can kind of go back and work on some of these. Now remember, too, what does the sentence always start with? Eric. A capital letter. So the directions here say, write each statement or question correctly. So this first sentence says, Beth and her sister have a dog. I see the punctuation mark, and it's a period, so I know that this is a statement, because statements use periods, excuse me. But what is wrong with this sentence? What did Eric just say? What do sentences have to start with? Navalia.
A capital.
A capital letter. Is this B capitalized? No. So what do I need to do to make this sentence correct? Felicia.
You need to do another top.
Oh, make the soup like that. So I'm going to make it a capital letter. So I'm going to rewrite this down here on my line and make it correct by having my correct capital letter here. So Beth and her sister have a dog. So what kind of sentence is this? If there's a period, is it a statement or a question? Lockley.
Statement.
A statement. And you know that because it starts with a capital letter and ends with a period. Good job. Let's go on to the next one. Do they walk the dog every day? We're missing a few things here. What do we think? Bella?
So you have to capitalize the D,
Okay.
and there's no period or question mark, and it's supposed to be a question mark.
How do you know that it's supposed to be a question mark?
Because it's a question, because it says, do they walk the dog every day?
Yeah, so it kind of seems like you use these thinking questions to guide your response. So you were asking does this sentence tell or ask something, and you determine that this sentence is asking something. And so that means if a sentence is asking you something, it's a question, therefore you need a question mark. So Bella said we need to capitalize the letter D since it's the beginning of our sentence, and we need to add a question mark because this sentence is a question. Do you agree with Bella? Show me that you agree with Bella. Good work. So we're going to do that. We're going to fix this sentence. It's kind of getting wonky for me to write here. Do they walk the dog every day? Now what punctuation mark?
A question
A
mark.
question mark. Good work. So also, friends, a good way to tell if a sentence is a question is a lot of times most of our questions will start with the same few words. So like who, what, where, when, how. And sometimes it also starts with do, does, a few other ones. I wrote them down so you can know for future. So yeah, I have who, what, where, when, how, or why. And sometimes it also, questions start with is, are, does, and do. So that's kind of a good signal to also keep in the back of your mind when trying to determine whether a sentence is a statement or question. So, next one. This one, I'm going to ask for a volunteer to come up here and fix this sentence. So use our thinking questions as you're thinking about what we need to do to fix this sentence. Noah, do you want to come up here, hon?
Yep.
So Noah and the rest of my friends who are going to come up here and do this, instead of rewriting it, you can just add and fix it right on top of this sentence. So if I were to do that for this one, say I didn't rewrite this, I would just add the question mark and fix this to a capital D. You kind of see what I did there, friends? Instead of having to rewrite it, I'll just fix it right on this sentence. T, okay. So do you want to turn and tell your friends what you did?
I put a capital D, I put a capital T, and I put a period.
Why did you put a period, hon?
Because it's not asking you a question.
No, it's just telling you something, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of sentence is this?
This is like
A statement or a question?
it's a question. Oh, it's a statement.
Good. I like how you fixed what you were saying there. Good. I knew you knew what you were doing too. So good job. Thank you, Noah. Can everyone give Noah a little hand? All right, our next one. Blair, why don't you come up here and do exactly what Noah did. Fix it just right on that, right on top of the sentence there. Okay. So it says, how old are the puppies? If you can't see, it's kind of getting low down here. All right, Blair, I can take this. You want to tell your friends what you did? Why'd you do that?
Because it's a question.
How do you know that it's a question? Is it telling you something or is it asking you something?
It's telling you,
Asking you something. What else did you do?
capitalize the H.
Good job. Can everyone give Blair a little hand? Okay, our very last one. This one's kind of low down here. Can everyone see it okay down here? Oh my goodness, look at these hands. It's like when you get to write on the board, you're so excited. Okay, James, you think you can do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So this sentence says the puppies are very young. So what do you need to do to make this sentence correct? Good work. You want to turn and tell your friends what you did on the board to fix the sentence?
I made the T a capital.
Can you turn around and tell them?
Made T and then a capital, then there's no period, so I put one there.
Why did you put a period mark?
Because it's not a question.
If it's not a question, it's a...
I thought
Do you want to maybe phone a friend? If it's not a question, it's a... Did you choose Bella?
the line.
Oh, Flavia.
Statement.
A statement, you're right. And so if it's a statement, it's telling us something and we just need a period. Good work, you can go sit down. Thank you. Oh, we have to give James a round of applause. All right, thank you, volunteers. So, let's think back. So, what does a question mean? I have 4 things in mind. So I'm going to give you a hint with the first one. What does our sentence always start with? Okay. A capitalized letter, so a capital letter. Like like all of these sentences have. What are the two different things that are in a sentence? One starts with an S, one starts with a P. We talked about this last grammar lesson last week too, so if you can think back, I also mentioned it at the beginning of the lesson too. We didn't really talk about it during, but this is something very important that you need to know.
Subject.
A subject. Good job, Cassidy. And the action part. What's that word? Get back. Nico. The action part. So we have capital letter, subject, and our action part. What's the name of the action part? It starts with a P.
Project.
Oh, raise your hand.
Project.
What did you say? Maybe Alicia can help you.
Prediction.
Not prediction, but it does start with a P. Molly. Predicate. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness. We remember. And what does it end with? Noah.
It does it with
A marker.
a question mark.
Okay, but a question mark is a what kind of mark? A
Punctuation mark.
punctuation mark. Good job. So a question mark is one example of a punctuation mark. And so if we're writing a sentence and we're just telling someone something and we're not asking anything, we're just writing something, we're just, again, telling them something. What kind of sentence is that? And we have a period at the end. A sentence that tells something and has a period at the end. What kind of sentence is that? Look up there. More hands should be raised. Lolly.
Statement.
A statement. A statement tells something and has a period at the end. What kind of sentence asks something and has a question mark at the end? So not statement. What's the other one written up there? More hands, please. I know that you know it. It's the other one that's written up there. Statements and Dominant. Questions. A question asks something and it ends with a question mark. A question mark is the punctuation you use when you're asking a question. So good job, friends. Don't you think that it's really important to know what a statement and a question, what questions are and what they look like when we read or write? So yeah, it's going to help us when we're writing, especially with all of our maybes and stuff. There's a lot of writing that we have to do, don't you think? And so it's super important to know which punctuation marks that we need to use to make our writing stronger and better. And it'll also help us as we read, so we know what the author is trying to tell us. If the author is just trying to tell us something, they'll use a period. And if the author is asking us something, we'll know that they are because there will be a question mark. So good job, friends. Give yourself a pat on the back. You guys need to wake up. What is going on?
I didn't sleep at home
Oh,
last
goodness.
night.
Oh my goodness.
I woke up at 6.
I know I'm on video. I did that